of all time. It's nearly universally accepted in the arm wrestling world that John Brzenk is the greatest of all time, but is that also the case for his left arm? John has accrued over 500 title wins in high-level tournaments, in a career that spanned almost 40 years. About 20% of those titles, so 100 of them, were on the left arm. In terms of sheer numbers, it's safe to say nobody really comes close to John. However, in a survey, only 7% of people thought John was the left-handed GOAT, with a sizable number of people voting for Travis Bagent, and over half of respondents claiming the Russian juggernaut Denis Siplenkov is the true left-arm greatest of all time. Which of course begs the question...
You watch The Arm Historian?
Love that guy. Very thorough. Very.
And isn't he unique and isn't he talented? And the pieces that he put together, this last one on Engin, wonderful piece, beautifully animated, storytelling. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Loved him.
Very diligent.
Awesome.
Very timeless. Like, I feel like they're excellent pieces of work. Yeah.
I think he's really trying his best to put over a very balanced portrayal. Keep doing what you're doing, Arm Historian. I'm a fan, mate. Love what you do. Absolutely awesome.
This friendly rivalry between two of the absolute legends in arm wrestling is definitely also one of the longest lasting. John Brzenk and Ron Bath have been battling it out on the table for literal decades now, and have both been and still are amongst the elites of the sport. With the two having faced each other an innumerable amount of times over the years, it's hard to say what their exact win-loss record is. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you might be. This is the Arm Historian Live. Usually we go live in a couple of hours from now, about 3 hours from now, but didn't really have time to do that, so I figured I might as well get a quick live in now. I do have a deadline, like in 45 minutes I have to be somewhere, so yeah, I will have to leave before then. But I figured I'd check in with you guys, take a look at what's been happening in arm wrestling for the past week. And see where we're at. See Mr. Peanut in chat. How you doing, Mr. Peanut? Welcome. One of our regulars here. Let me get some music going quickly. And then we'll take a look at Knuckles Up today, I think. I think those results have kind of been coming in. For those of you that watched it, what did you think? Did you like it? The event in general? Let me quickly get some music going. Probably it'll be a really quiet stream, because usually, like I said, I go live in a couple of hours, so expect a little less people to show up. But that's alright. I still wanted to keep to my schedule as far as I could. Let's make sure I'm not blasting you guys' ears out. Here we go. Let's set the mood a little. I like this one. Yep. How you doing, Mr. Peanut? Good to have you, man. Let me quickly check if the chat highlight is working. Yep, seems to be doing its thing. Okay, good. Let's see if I can pull up something. Mr. Peanut says the video was rough, multiple issues from camera locations, changing cameras. Yeah, I've heard similar things. I've looked a little bit on Reddit. Wait, let me turn down the music a little. I looked a little bit on Reddit to kind of get an idea for what people thought. I've seen some of the matches myself. I bought a pay-per-view, and I've watched some of the matches. Hang on. Giving you an insight into my live stream dashboard here. Very exclusive insight. Strange. It doesn't seem to be updating it for some reason. Wonder why. Let me see if I can fix that. There we go. There we go, that should about do it. They didn't have solid video to properly review challenges made. Yeah, I saw that. Some issues with the playback, right? John looking happy. Reddit has been quite prolific last day, it seems. Derek Smith showcasing his defensive pronation here. Yeah, and it's a shame too because they had some good matchups, I feel like. Rombat taking the win over Mario Tambakis 3-0. Very nice. Ron proving that he still has it. I met Ron earlier in 2024 in real life. Quite an imposing figure. Yeah, I saw some people bringing up, like, why are certain athletes allowed to compete at Knuckles Up while others seemingly aren't? Certain athletes that are under contract, because, for example, Gabby Vasconcelos was there, and I believe she pulls in East versus West too, right? So, saw some people bringing that up on Reddit. In straps, Levan has no chance with Prime Dave. Levan faced a washed-up Dave in 2021, who was not even training because of COVID lockdowns. Levan was scared to go straps with Dave. Certainly an opinion. Thugalicious says, do you think Vitali will be able to hit 160 kilograms by the time he faces Levan? I don't know, it does seem to be trending that way, right? So maybe. His frame could probably support it, although I don't know how much strength gains he would be making past the probably 140 kilogram mark. It's hard to say, right? He's looking absolutely huge. Yeah, he is. I've seen some footage of him and he's looking really good. Let me quickly maybe pull up. He's on Instagram, right? I think he has some kind of presence on Instagram. Although I don't know how much time he spends on there. Let me quickly check out his Instagram. See if he posted some recent lifts there. This one was like a week ago or something. Yeah, he's looking big. Yeah, that's true. He's looked way skinnier in the past. I don't think I've ever seen him with that much of a gut. Yeah, he's looking big. It's very true. Looking quite massive. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Does anyone know if the Devon Vitali match has been confirmed? Probably hasn't yet. No, there's been talk about it. But then again, there's been talk about it for like more than a decade by now. His shoulders are looking much larger than ever, says Tugalicious, filling out his frame very well. I don't think it has. Yeah, that's true. He's filling out his frame well. I hope he can convert some of this extra weight into all quality weight. If he's able to do that, I think we might see a serious jump in Vitaly Alatin's strength. At least one hopes so, right? Because that's always been the trend with Vitaly. What most people in the arm wrestling community say about Vitaly, that he hasn't quite reached his full potential. He's one of the people with the most potential. Tugalicious says Vitaly is taking the Levan match after Artyom Morozov first is Hermes win. If Michael wins, he takes the match later. Interesting, okay. I thought the winner of Michael and Hermes were going directly to Levan, but yeah, probably shows that I'm behind a little bit. I'm not quite up on all the current knowledge. Yeah, just look at how he looked before Vitaly. Crazy. Damn, there's like two people in chat. I appreciate you both, Mr. Peanut and Tugalicious, but I didn't quite expect there to be that much of a drop-off just going live 3 hours earlier. But I guess it kind of makes sense, right? Hermes said that he needs more time after Michael for Levan. Yeah, I get it. It kind of makes sense, right? I think when people, especially if you faced Levan before, I think you probably realize what you need in order to beat him, and yeah, probably Hermes feels like he isn't quite at that level yet. So yeah, I understand why he would need more time. But yeah, Vitaly looking good, looking massive like you said. This is about a month ago. Awesome. Yeah, good to see. I hope he does well, man. Tugalicious says Hermes is working on his endurance right now for Michael, then he needs to balloon up in strength for Levan after his match, is what I'm guessing. Yeah, might be. You're saying that he needs more time to kind of adjust his training methods because Levan is such a different opponent than Michael. Kinda makes sense. Yeah, Ferret versus Jordan. And knuckles up. Hey Piyush, how you doing, man? Says, finally I got a girlfriend. I think Levan should be scared I'm coming for him. Yes, Piyush, you've unlocked the special forces now, right? You've unlocked the power deep inside. The power of love, indeed, Tugalicious. Sonny Piyush has a very interesting theory about athletes and girlfriends. Very interesting one. Yeah, is the girl actually aware that she's your girlfriend, Piyush? I think Mr. Peanut raises an interesting point here. One moment, I have an alarm going off. For some reason. Yeah, I need to be somewhere in about half an hour, so Need to kind of keep that in mind. Pierce says that's a different story, guys. She doesn't. She doesn't know, but she is. Okay, there we go. Setting the tone for the stream, I see. Wonderful sketch here of who I assume is Matthias Schlitter from Germany, aka Hellboy. Crazy arm that guy has. Really crazy arm. Is Knuckles Up claiming they got DDoSed or something? Interesting. Okay, so someone's saying here on Reddit, and of course take it with a grain of salt, we confirmed that the source of the crash is malicious, and then chat says, did the hackers try to steal people's bank info? And then Knuckles Up replied, no, they're specifically targeting the site to take it down. If true, that's interesting. If Knuckles Up was DDoSed, I don't know. I think some people tend to chalk up technical issues and stuff like that, especially as a defense kind of to hackers, or it might have been hackers or something like that. But I don't know if that's really true in most cases. Yeah, arm wrestling hacking groups, kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't know, like, maybe I could see if someone is really vindictive. In my experience, arm wrestling people aren't the most savvy when it comes to tech stuff. They aren't the most tech literate, so I doubt it was any kind of sophisticated attack if one even happened. But yeah, who knows? Maybe they DDoSed the website to take it down. Could always be. I tend to err on like the side of probably it was just some technical difficulties that they tried to disguise as our website was under attack, or maybe they didn't have enough bandwidth or something. They didn't buy enough bandwidth beforehand in order to accommodate the viewership. I don't know. Could be like so many reasons, right? Someone saying here, imagine it's Engin having someone do it. I hope not, but it wouldn't surprise me. I doubt it. You never know, but I doubt it. If it was genuinely hackers, not just Knuckles Up being useless, then it was 100% ordered by Engin, as nobody wants Knuckles Up to fail. Nobody else, says someone here. And then someone else agrees and says, for sure it's him. Come on, who else would it be? I don't know about that. Someone's pointing the finger at Baxter now. Robert Baxter. Some form of gateway attack, says someone here on Reddit. I have my doubts, but it could be right. Neil Pickpocket on Reddit says, I can't for sure say it's Engin, but given his personality and attitude towards Knuckles Up, he doesn't deserve the benefit of doubt. He did once have Hermes on a surprise live during the middle of the night, during a Knuckles Up event. Not a coincidence. It's also not a coincidence that everyone associated with East vs. West has been afraid to promote this event. I haven't seen any predictions, shows, or anything. Now, there might be some truth in these things, right? I don't know. Personally, there might be some truth there, but like a malicious DDoS attack orchestrated by Engin seems a little far-fetched, to be honest. Mr. Peanut says, Hellboy was featured on TV show Stan Lee's Superhumans. University built an arm wrestling machine to measure force applied during a match. Matt broke the arm off of their machine. Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, seems like a nice guy though, Matthias Schlitter. I've seen him around here in a local tournament. He lives pretty close to me, not that close, but relatively close. They had underestimated the force at half of that, and he applied a force of 98% of his body weight to arm. Yeah, I guess they didn't really take arm wrestlers into account, right? Dougalicia says might be a contract thing where they can't speak about other organizations. It might be, but then I'm kind of wondering why that is in the contract in the first place. It seems kind of counterintuitive in a sport that is as small as ours to kind of give these kind of exclusivity clauses. I don't really know why that would be in there. It would surprise me if it wasn't there. Yeah, he is. He is. Really good person. At least that's what it looked like to me. Yeah. Someone says you're arm wrestling fan, says you're another regular of the stream, says guessing this was DDoS, not an actual hack indeed. That was my first instinct too. If something was up, then probably it's just a DDoS attack. Someone here pointing the fingers at WAF, Eastern Europeans. What's up, by the way, does anyone know what's up with Core Sports and East vs West? Are they still handling the production kind of East vs West going forward, or has that completely fallen through? I wonder. Pio says, bro, does legs hold any game for arm wrestling like he's doing squats? Any benefit? Can we generate force from our legs for side pressure, really? I don't know about that last question for side pressure, really. But I definitely feel like my legs play into my arm wrestling to a certain degree. It's like just the conditioning of being on the table so long. Like hours on end during a training, during a practice session, I feel it in my legs afterwards. Now that might be because I'm in like the highest weight category. I'm not like super morbidly obese or anything, but yeah, I do feel it in my legs and knees after a long training session. So I'm pretty sure they play into it to a degree. I'm not saying you need like really strong legs in order to win an arm wrestling match, but I don't think it'll hurt you that much. Maybe in the sense that if you have really big legs that weigh a lot, you might be pulling outside of your weight category in which you would naturally pull if your legs were smaller. So maybe it can kind of be a disadvantage in that way, but I'm kind of reaching, right? Hey Jacobin, how you doing? This is a pretty good arm wrestling weekend. Yeah, some interesting stuff indeed, knuckles up and stuff. I liked it. I've only been able to watch a very small part of it, but I'll definitely catch up on it. Latruso says, early stream, Mr. Arm. Yes, indeed. Usually I go live about 2 hours from now, 2.5 hours from now, something like that. But yeah, I didn't really have time to do that. And I have to leave in like 20 minutes from now or something like that. But I figured I might go live for an hour today at least, so I don't break the streak. Legs help to kick your opponent. Now there's a good point. Mr. Peanut says core strength training can increase upper body strength by 20%. Yeah, I'm a big believer in that too. And just all around, I think having more strength in your core, having more core strength, is gonna be beneficial for how dynamic you can be on the table to a degree, I think. Or how static when you choose to be static, of course. Latruso says you talked about Bowen. What about Bowen? Like his match there? I didn't talk about it. I think I got spoiled on the result. I think Ryan Bowen took the win over Tom Holland, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at the match yet, so... Yeah, versus Tom Holland. Yeah, interestingly, also 2 guys I've met in real life earlier in 2024. Both nice guys. I know Ryan Bowen a little better. I've worked with him a little behind the scene on some things. Done some editing for him and stuff. But yeah, good on him. Good win. Wasn't he heavier though? Was it the same weight category? I wonder. But I heard he had some... It wasn't like a super easy one-sided win, right? Yeah, Bowen did win, indeed. He made the weight cut. Okay, interesting, nice. That's good. Yeah, he looked leaner when I saw his Instagram post coming by, so yeah. Javra says, "Where are you from?" Take a guess, Javra. It's kind of it's been kind of a running joke on these live streams. People guessing where I'm from. I've heard all kinds of countries, but they rarely guess where I'm from. But it's somewhere in Europe. Tagalicious says, Devon has been blowing up in size for both arms and even his face recently. Yeah, Devon is looking big. There's been some whispers about him coming in at like 300 pounds or something, so we'll see. I'd love to see it again. Pierce says, I met Bo and we had a chance in Delhi during Sanjay Deswal. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Bowen has some really weird arm wrestling logics, yeah. But then again, Piyush, I think the more you start talking to some of the top arm wrestlers, or at least the more well-known arm wrestlers, one thing that they almost all have in common is they have some really weird training methods, as well as some other weird stuff that they believe in a lot. That I wouldn't necessarily recommend to people. But yeah, there you go. Latrousseau is guessing he's around 290 pounds right now. Interesting. Okay, so he's nearly there. Javra says, are you pro arm wrestler or just enjoyer? I'm not a pro. I do arm wrestle pretty actively. I train about 2 times a week now. Although sometimes I reduce it to 1 time a week, table time. But I've been doing that for like 2 times a week for, what is it now, like 3.5 years? Almost 4 years, maybe? Yeah, something like that. And I do participate in tournaments. I won my amateur class not too long ago for the first time. So yeah, I'll be pulling with the seniors, with the pros, quote unquote, next time. But no, I'm not a pro by any means. I can arm wrestle, but I'm not like yeah, I can't hang with the good guys, I'm sure. Tagalicious says Devon is looking at a more muscular rather than fat-bellied size compared to the Michael Todd match, if that makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense, Tagalicious. Because he was quite bloated in the Michael Todd match, at least that's how he looked. He did look solid too. He looked strong and solid, but yeah, I know what you mean exactly. Latrousseau says versus MMT, he was heavier, but this shape looks way better. Yeah, it does look a little more lean and like a little more muscled, I guess. A little more toned, if that makes sense. The ultimate game of applied biophysics, indeed. I love that quote. Mr. Peanuts. Piyush says, I had a grip or somewhat of arm wrestling, but his logic on bicep curls is really stupid. I couldn't go even on his negative side, but man oh man, he totally neglects tricep and he has a weird logic. I think a lot of people, a lot of arm wrestlers think tricep is not important. And it's tough for me to have an opinion on that because I rarely ever press. I've been doing it a little more lately, but my press is so bad that it's hard for me to have an opinion on that. I do think you certainly use your bicep during arm wrestling, even if you don't press, to a degree. But to which degree? Yeah, I'm not quite sure. There's a lot of discussion on that. Latrousseau says he had constipation weight versus MMT. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it too, I like that. Tagalicious says, who do you have in the Auden versus Artem match? I have Artem, but if Auden is confident to take the match, he has a lane that he's going to take. Is that match happening? Is that confirmed? I've heard some rumblings about it, but don't know if it's been confirmed. I don't know. Tough to say. For some reason, I'm feeling like Auden. I'm not super hyped on Auden or anything. But for some reason, I'm kind of feeling Auden. Isn't he heavier than Artem too? Isn't he like two weight classes above Artem or something? Thanks, Mr. Peanuts. Thank you. I think triceps are important, even if you don't press, it's confirmed. Yeah, tell that to the people who swear up and down that they never use tricep during arm wrestling. That they never train it because it's not important. Tell that to those people. I believe personally, it's also because I just want to be healthier, but I believe in like a balanced training. I do train specifically for arm wrestling, but I try not to neglect any major muscle groups outside of those arm wrestling specific ones, right? I try to keep up with them as much as I can. So that's my personal conviction. That's how I train personally. Fairly sure it's happening. It's confirmed. Okay, that's what you mean. Yeah. Okay, that's nice. That's a good match, actually. I like that match. Piyush says, but damn, arm wrestling him, I realized like he's the Joker of a kind, but the levels are some really weird. His hand felt really fucking strong. I don't know what the fuck is that. His bicep and my bicep are almost similar, but I couldn't even feel it. Yeah, I think I don't know. It's hard to arm wrestle without a hand. I'm sure you know that, Piyush. And it always feels like the strength is way off, right, if your hand gets taken. I didn't really grip up with Bowen when I met him, unfortunately, but I did have a chance to grip up with RVJ, for example, and yeah, really strong. Like, I'm heavier than RVJ and taller, but yeah, there wasn't a lot I could do there. Unsurprisingly, of course, it's not like that was some big surprise to me. Bicep tricep muscle co-activation provides joint stability for elbow. That makes a lot of sense, Mr. Peanut. I think that's like a good argument to train a lot of different muscle groups, even if they don't necessarily, even if you're not using them all the time necessarily to the fullest extent. I think it's still important for things like stability, joint stability, to train other muscle groups too. Tagalisha says, man, my tricep has been so essential to finish matches against the guys I pull with. Yeah. I know one person I train with regularly is like a dedicated presser, and I think he believes in training triceps. Yeah, okay. Latrusso kind of reiterating what Mr. Peanut said there, right? Kind of adding to that. I agree. Javra says, I think Devon will eat as much pancakes as it takes to beat Gennady, but if he loses, it will be proof that Gennady is better than Devon, so Devon can't let that happen. Yeah, kind of. Would like to see it, though. I kind of want to see Gennady take the win for some reason. Mr. Peanut says we practice muscle co-activation of triceps, biceps for most efficient transfer of power. Our true power is coming from our body mass. Yeah, mass moves mass. That's certainly true. Pierce says, bro, how tall are you? I'm about 198, something like that, in centimeters. I don't quite know what that is in feet, like 6'5" or something, 6'4", I don't know. Tagalisha says, I have a specific technique, kind of like Hermes' defense against Levan, where I focus all on my bicep angle and back pressure to defend and gas out my opponent. It gives me more distance to keep my bicep. Yeah, I've seen some people use that kind of move too. I think I'm like picturing what you mean here. It's like a press, but kind of outside of your shoulder still, right? Something like that. Or are you just like holding like in a bicep curl kind of motion and pulling backwards. Because yeah, that's a pretty standard method of defense, I think. That's what I usually do to defend too. Out of Tune says, it's too early to jump on the Auden hype train for me. I know he's young, but he needs to stop mimicking his dad's personality and antics and develop a personality of his own. That would be better. Yeah, to a degree, I agree there. But I think that's inevitable either way. I think that'll happen anyways. I don't think he'll stay a carbon copy of Devon for very long, personally. And if he does, it kind of makes sense too, right? It is his son after all. But yeah, I hear ya. And judging from the videos, Gennady seems to have an easier time pulling his left than with his right. It's a valid reason for concern. That's certainly true. A lot of people have been saying that Gennady doesn't look particularly healthy right now. Don't know if that's true or not. I guess only Gennady can really know that. Mr. Peanut says muscle coactivation occurs when agonist and antagonist muscles or synergist muscles surrounding a joint contract simultaneously to provide joint stability. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes sense to me, yes. That's just two things evening out, right? Tagalisha says 6'5" is crazy height. It's okay. I'm not like a giant or anything. I'm taller than most people, but I'm not like some huge giant. Hariam No Topperl says, all those people who say triceps are not important or biceps are not important are generally those people who have trained their biceps and triceps in past to max potential. Yeah, might be the case. Might be the case. They don't even notice anymore. I am quite a big boy, that's true. How old are you, says Javra? I'm about in the 30 range. I'll give you that much, like around the 30 range. Let's keep it at that. Piyush Kumar says, what the fuck, you are a fucking giant, man. By the way, I have a doubt on back pressure, like lat drag back pressure versus upward force back pressure. What should be my move for taller opponents? Or should I strengthen my side pressure? That's tough, right? I think that still depends from person to person which kind of opponent you're facing. And it also depends on how your hand stacks up versus his hand. Like if your hand maybe isn't as strong, I would try for the upward force back pressure, kind of post up. And kind of push your hand through his hand, you know what I mean? Kind of punch up there. I think your hand is a little less relevant there, your hand strength. But with the lat drag back pressure, you gotta make sure your hand and wrist kind of stay. If you're... Like if he controls your hand and wrist and you try that, you're just gonna pry yourself open while trying to do that, I think so. At least in my experience. Out of Tune says, yeah, Auden is still a kid and there's plenty of room for development and improvement, no doubt. Indeed, well said. Kind of how I feel. Piyush says, strengthen my side pressure. I already read that. Hariam No Top Roll says, same with Devon. Not training elbow flexor as he already has achieved in the past, in 2008. Yeah, might be the case that these guys have reached the limit of their potential there and just see no reason to train it anymore. I definitely don't think you should take training advice of like the elite pullers who have been in the sport for decades. I don't think you should necessarily take their training advice like one-to-one and take it as gospel, you know what I mean? I think that's a one-way, that's like a one-way trip to Arm Break City. Tagalisha says, Gennady is looking strong with his recent lifts. Check them out. Devon isn't going to be in for an easy match, but I still favor him. Yeah, I do believe you. I did see Gennady posted some nice lifts. I don't know if he did it on Instagram here. No, I don't think he's putting too many of his lifts here, unfortunately. It's more memeing back and forth here, it seems. Tagalisha says, lat drag is very risky. I've tried it against a taller guy and almost lost that match. I was just lucky to jump in and get a deep flop press before getting pinned. Yeah. Like I remember one of the errors in general that I made too often when I first started participating in tournaments was opening myself up too quickly, getting ahead of my arm and hand and wrist, try to use my body weight straight away going down, or if somehow my opponent didn't move from center, try to hang my body weight into it, and 9 times out of 10 it's just gonna end up with you opening up and getting pinned even quicker. So yeah, one advice, at least for me, that has worked for me personally, is if something like that happens and you feel like you have a hard time getting your opponent away from center, try closing up the gap a little bit with your own arm, try staying tight and close and compact, and if you're going for the pin, try and not extend too far past your own arm, right? Try and keep up with your own arm, if that makes sense. Java says, I just thought about something today. What if Artyom intentionally let his wristband back to give Devon hope, and then have match with Devon, destroy him, and earn lots of money? This will be best. Yeah, I'm sure it has happened before, things like that. I'm not saying it happened here, but I'm sure stuff like that happened before. I have an entire video that I made on like staged arm wrestling matches, which is pretty interesting. Hey, Sylvester Stallone, how you doing? Good to see you. Fairly sure his lifts are on YouTube. Yeah, that makes sense, Douglicious. I generally don't try to show too much of other people's content on YouTube, just because the stream will get taken down. It's happened in the past. Some people are more loose with it than others, but yeah. Yeah, we did talk about Knuckles Up to a degree, alone. You're coming in at the tail end of the stream, unfortunately. I have to be somewhere in like a couple of minutes to pick up my girlfriend and go do some stuff tonight. I'm working on a video. I've been working on a video for really long. It's been a while since I've taken like several weeks to make one video. But it is coming out relatively soon, hopefully. It'll be on a very controversial topic to a lot of people. That's kind of the reason why it's taking so long to create, because I have to kind of go for the right tone in the video. Try not to alienate all of the viewers, you know what I mean? Yeah, out of tune, we usually go live way later than this. It's just I wanted to get my usual live stream in on Sunday. But usually, that's also why there's only like 10, 12 people in today. But usually we go live about 2 hours from now, something like that. Yeah, 2 hours and 15 minutes from now, so yeah. Hey, shoot, Sylvester, while I'm still here. People rarely ever take their own advice, right, Mr. Peanut? Roy says, what's the topic of the video? I guess I'll spoil it for the select few people here. It'll be about like pseudoscience or pseudoscientific things that some arm wrestlers are kind of selling you on. I know that's vague, but I don't really want to give everything away in the video. But yeah, it'll be about some controversial things that some arm wrestlers swear by. And that some arm wrestlers are getting paid by some people selling those things. Whatever, you'll see. You'll see. It won't be too long, but you'll see. Piyush. I don't know if I'll be mentioning your theory, but it'll definitely be a mainstay on the stream from now on. Okay, Archdog, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I didn't know they were live. But yeah, unfortunately, this was kind of the only time slot I had today where I could go live. So yeah, there you go. Out of Tune says, your Rise and Fall videos are greatly appreciated. I learned from them, and every time I try to get somebody into the sport, they are the videos I will recommend first. Well, I appreciate that a lot, Out of Tune. Yeah, thank you for that. It's very motivating. Do not drop hang body weight. Key to power is rotation of core mass. Think of power transfer of throwing discus. Total transfer of energy to hand. That makes sense to me too, Mr. Peanut. Indeed. It's okay, Talone. I have to go anyways. I have to go pick up my girlfriend. I hope she's not waiting yet. She's playing tennis right now, and then we'll go do something afterwards. But yeah, she was playing until 7, from 6 to 7, so I had like a quick hour to get a live stream in. It's 7 p.m. here, by the way, for those that don't know. Roy says, I bought Knuckles Up 5, I watched 2 matches and then got distracted and didn't watch it anymore. It was meh for me. I still have to see most of the matches. I only saw a couple, did by the pay-per-view, but yeah. Awesome, Tugalicious. Hope you have a good meal, man. Thank you everyone who showed up. I know it's been a very quiet live stream, and just when more people are starting to show up, I have to leave, which is very unfortunate. Maybe I'll get a chance to go live tonight again. I doubt it, but maybe, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Also, keep your eyes out for my video. New video that I'll be dropping, quite a controversial topic there. And other than that, everyone, have an awesome Sunday. Thank you for dropping by. And see you later. Bye-bye, guys.